Good evening, everybody. This is Cinnamon Noir.
And this is the Ramen Shaman.
Welcome to Survey Program, which is, of course, what Toby Fox called Deltarune when people originally downloaded it. That is, I think, still, for people who downloaded it, that's what it says on your desktop. It calls it Survey Program. So this is basically the sequel to Undertale, as I think I hardly need to tell anybody. This is famous all over the internet. It's the guy who did Undertale. As the first chapter in the sequel to Undertale, the Toby Fox has warned us he may never actually be able to finish.
Well, at least he's told us beforehand.
Yeah. I have not played Undertale, or at least not beyond the demo. Greg has. But I decided I'd just go through this all at once. I actually recorded this all in one night, because it is kind of an engrossing game.
Fair enough.
We're starting off here with just a character select screen. I think that the point of this was to give the impression that this was actually a survey. So he was collecting information from his audience about what kind of character they wanted.
Are the legs? I can't tell the legs apart.
I don't think they're different, honestly. I can't I can't tell. Anyway, if you say you don't accept it, the program just ends, as you might expect. This is Toby Fox tweaking the player's nose. Is going to be a near constant thing from now on.
Yeah, I do like him sort of playing with the idea of character creation.
Yeah. So have you gone through this section at all, Greg? Like this first part?
Ugh.
I guess not.
Nope.
Some surprises in store.
I'm completely new to this.
It asks you to choose your favorite blood type, and it includes C and D, which are not blood types, which is kind of interesting. So I figure, you give it mind, it can get all the other stuff, right? Kindness, conscientiousness. Don't worry, Toby Fox, I'm not worried about my creation hearing what I have to say. I'm not completely over the deep end. Like most Undertale players.
That's an interesting variant on the EULA.
Yeah, seizure warning? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we give it a name. It asks us to name our vessel. And I say nope. I'm not gonna. We called it Nope. And then it asks you for your name. So I, of course, say... Not my real name. I'm not an idiot. This is the internet. That never goes away. No, we're going to go with Or Uhyu is another way you could pronounce it. So... Gone through the character creation screen. Now, Greg, do you remember Icarus Proudbottom?
Vaguely, yes.
Do you remember what happened when we created a character in that game? Well, it happens in this game, too.
Oh.
Doesn't make a damn bit of difference. So, first big tweak of the player's nose. Your character that you just created gets thrown away. Because as Toby Fox says, you can't choose who you're born. Great reason to waste someone's time, Toby Fox. No, seriously, I'm not nearly as salty about this game as I am about Undertale. Because, one, it was free. And two, there's some very clever things about it that I appreciate that are elaborations on Undertale. But we'll get into that. So here's our main character, named Chris. Like Frisk from Undertale. And in fact, Frisk and Chris kind of have this weird Kingdom Hearts thing going on, where Chris's name is Frisk's scrambled up minus one letter. Although now that I think about it, it's actually the opposite in Kingdom Hearts. When someone becomes a nobody, they add an X into the name and then scramble it up. But I'm not entirely sure that there's not a connection here, that's the reason Toby Fox did it. Anyway, just looking at some flavor text in here. Flavor text is one of the best parts of Toby Fox games, of course.
Well, yeah.
Oh, and we have lots of books about snails here.
Not really.
Mm-hmm. So Chris is pretty much exactly like Frisk. Deliberately androgynous, no personality. Really, honestly, I don't think there's anything to like about this character, unless you like the design. But that's the way it goes. It's meant to be a player insert.
Which is ironic when you think about it.
Why?
Because they just encourage you to do a player insert and then told you
to
screw up.
Right. Yeah, it is funny that Toby Fox is like, this character has his or her own personality. And it's like, no, they really don't. Thanks anyway. So you may have noticed that the character who woke us up, who seems to be our mom, is basically Toriel from Undertale. This game's got a weird Majora's Mask relationship going on with Undertale, where pretty much all the characters from Undertale show up, but they have different, roles.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them might be the same people, but others are, different people with the same appearance. It's a little confusing. So we have this very epic opening theme for a car ride to school. I'm pretty sure Chris is in middle school.
How did she make that turn?
I have no idea. She's a very good driver, you know. Of course, she's an excellent driver.
Like, her ability to make hairpin 90-degree turns.
I know, it's pretty good. She's a sprite flipper. I'm passing by the library. I've heard people mispronounce the word library in school, but never that badly. You may have also noticed that little runic thing from Undertale that looks like a golden snitch is all over the place in this game. It appeared a few times in Undertale, but I think they more heavily emphasize it in Deltarune. And a nice family hug.
I like that the kid just stands there.
Yeah, he seems like he's a little autistic, to be honest. Speaking of autistic people, it's my least favorite character from Undertale. I'm so glad to see her again. So this time, instead of being a completely ineffectual scientist, Alphys is a completely ineffectual teacher. And yet, she is completely ineffectual. She, cannot control this class at all. So in this game, Temmie from the last game is a student, and she has a weird egg on her desk. And this guy, I don't remember if he was in Undertale, but he's a jackass. He reminds me of Falco. He's like Falco for this game. Pretty nice flying, Chris.
I kind of wish... One thing I liked about the Temmies is that they were just kind of optional.
Yeah, and they were just there. They were their own weird thing.
Them.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, talking to almost all the characters in this is optional. But you do have to talk to your little reindeer friend here. Noelle, of course, because she's Christmas-themed.
Mm-hmm.
And so... she's actually willing for you to be part of a 3-partner team with her, but the bird guy shoots it down because he's an asshole. Oh, and speaking of...
Mo from Calvin and Hobbes?
A little taller than Mo. No, this is Susie. She's basically the class bully. Weirdly enough, I found out after the fact she's supposed to be some kind of snake. But I could have sworn when I was playing through this that she was a horse. That's what she looked like to me. Maybe it's the fact that she has, muscular arms, which makes me think of horse limbs, not snakes who have no limbs. But of course, if she's a snake person, she'd have to have arms, because you can't really have an RPG where characters don't have arms, because then you couldn't equip them with anything.
I mean, there's a snake in the lower left.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice that.
Looks like an actual snake.
And before someone says you could put armor on a snake, no, you couldn't, because it would fall down them, because they have no arms to hold it up.
Good point.
So anyway, Alphys is out of chalk, and she sends Susie out to go get it. And then she sends us to make sure Susie actually gets it. Because Susie's a delinquent and never does anything right. Oh, well, that's nice. Thank you, Rando Mook from the beginning of Undertale. Yeah, I don't remember this guy's name. I think he was the one who wanted to be a stand-up comedian. Yeah, see, that's another thing that suggests that Susie isn't a snake, because this guy's a snake, but he's actually a snake. No arms, no nothing. Yet somehow his baseball cap is backwards. How did he turn it around is my question.
He has a very dexterous tail.
Yeah, that could be it. Oh, for a minute I thought that was a cigarette. But no, she just ate the chalk. Ah, hiya. Nice hallway, isn't it? Well, technically Chris didn't see anything, because she was facing away from him. Hi. All this deteriorated quickly.
Yeah.
So you don't even say anything, and she just gets pissed off at you for no reason. Well, I didn't catch you eating all the chalk. I mean, there could be more chalk.
True.
If I was in this situation, I'd probably be groveling, but Chris doesn't do anything. Chris is literally hanging there limply like he's already gone unconscious. By the way, I'm just gonna go with he. Chris, like Frisk, is androgynous, but, you know, player insert, and I'm a guy, so... Yeah, that's true. If you're gonna get thrown out of school, you might as well kill someone. That's just logic. I don't know, I'm rather attached to my face, Susie. Threats of murder. Nope. No murder today. This is a Toby Fox game.
Be more ashamed to make the child bury the mother.
Yeah. Anyway, Susie's just got a macabre sense of humor, and she's a sociopath. So, by the way, I don't know, it's hard to tell if you're not playing, but you don't get to make a choice there. It just shows it for a split second and then gets rid of it. Because as Susie says, your choices don't matter. Great message, Toby Fox. Now, there are actually several points in the game where Toby Fox reinforces that message by making decisions for you. But at other times, you can make your own decisions, so, you know, he's not even consistent. Worst game designer ever. Why am I playing this game? So I wander around a little bit. You can't really leave school because Susie assumes that you're worried that she's going to snitch on you, which is ridiculous. I also try to get a drink from the water fountain, but then she criticizes me for going towards the kindergarten section. I don't know if you noticed, but Chris's mom walked in that direction earlier. She's actually the elementary school teacher in the same school. You can find that out later if you go around that classroom. Which, now that I think about it, we're actually doing later, so maybe I shouldn't have spoiled it. What a nice-looking hall closet. What a nice-looking nothing. Yeah, anyway, this is weird. I really like Susie's, like, mildly put-off face here. So you can see her eye through her emo fringe. Yeah, why don't you go in, Susie? You go in first. I'll be right behind you. No, she won't accept that, so you both have to go in. So yeah, you can't really find anything on the wall. You would think the light switch would be right by the door. Like, that's what I was thinking, but no, there's nothing. Why would anyone put a light switch at the far end of a room? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. No, by this point, I mean, anyone who's read Narnia probably knows what this is. So Narnia must not exist in this universe. This is an interdimensional closet. So yeah, Susie comes up with a good idea, which is that we should get out of here. Nope. Not happening. Oh. It's a bit unusual. Oh yeah, it is kind of like that. Oh, this is a great little image right here.
It would add a dimension to this if you had the option to do a no mercy run with your school bully.
Hold that thought. Anyway,
yeah.
So after that long fall, apparently we've completely changed form. We're now a vampire, clearly. I mean, look at the skin. And we also have armor with this weird little half-cape.
Well, we look like kind of halfway between Frisk and Susie, is the first thing that occurred to me.
That's not really what's going on here, I mean. I was actually just thinking, we also kind of look like one of the puppets from Labyrinth. Which makes sense, because Labyrinth actually has some similarities to this.
Yeah.
That's weird. So yeah, we're just in this big empty chasm.
Full of nothingness and weird...
And weird wobbly balls. On sticks.
Pretty much.
I also like how they deliberately make some of these cracks in the walls look like faces. I mean, not just the ones with the eyes next to them. I mean, even the ones that don't.
Yeah.
And they have black goop seeping out of them that I have no idea what that's supposed to be. And in case you're wondering, it's not really explained by the game. It may be related to one thing that we'll get into later. Oh, look. A pile of guff of some kind. That also kind of looks like a face, and I think it's deliberate. This is the most face-looking of all of them.
That's definitely intentional.
Now, I was hoping this would go the full horror route and let you, like, try to reach in there and see if there was something inside, but apparently you can't do that. Oh, but we can probably reach in here. Yeah, let's take it. So, that's a glow shard. It's just vendor trash. You can sell it for money. This was the first point I realized that there was a menu that you could get to by pressing either C or Shift. We also have a key item, which is our cell phone. So I figured, hey, easiest way to get back, let's call Mom. But apparently we're still on dial-up, so you know. We get a crappy signal in here.
Yeah, that's... What is that?
I think it's just supposed to be scary. I love that. A wooden practice blade with a carbon-reinforced core. Because that's real important. I mean, this basically means that if you stripped off the cardboard, it would be a better weapon.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also turned on the volume here, because I realized it was getting a bit loud.
Doesn't sound that loud to me, but I've adjusted my own system volume, so... Yeah.
Exactly. So here's something interesting. So, one elaboration on Undertale. It's rather clever. You can now be hurt in the overworld. When you approach something that's capable of hurting you, your heart will appear on the screen inside your body. And the heart is basically the hitbox. If the enemy projectile hits the heart, not your body, but the heart, you'll take damage. Only eyes blinded by darkness can see. Well, this is a fairly obvious puzzle. So, each of these switches, the little signal in front of them refers to which of these eyes they'll switch. So the leftmost one will toggle off the sides in the middle. The one in the middle will toggle the two on the left, and the one on the right will toggle the right.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed that eyeball, because there's not more of them left. I also discover you can break open these mounds, so of course the right thing to do at this point is just destroy all of them. Nothing bad will happen. We did this before in Undertale, I believe, and found a dog. But no, here we find Susie. Whew. We gotta get out of here! Yeah. Maybe it'd be better to find out where we are first, and then we can get out. So, Susie's following us now. Of course, do the usual RPG following around shenanigans. In a circle. Here's also where I discover a fun thing you could do while walking. Which is to piss Susie off by being dull and slow, so that she just runs ahead. Which was secretly my goal the whole time. I won't say I don't like Susie, because actually she's one of my favorite characters. But I definitely don't like her within the context of the game.
Well, yeah.
So I do my best to needle her. Oh. I'll bet this guy's a friend. Nope. Anyway. So, another little section where you can potentially get damaged. Fairly easy to avoid, though. This is pretty simple. And the shape of the projectiles is relevant. Maybe you can...
versus hearts.
Maybe you've already figured out what the theme is for this. Pretty much the entire demo, which at this point is the whole game.
Playing cards?
Very good. That's correct. For the next 3 hours, we will be exploring various variations on that theme. Oh, and we are not done with the projectiles.
Oh.
This is a little more difficult, but actually it's not too hard.
One thing I find interesting is your hitbox is just limited to that heart.
Exactly. But that's a reflection of the original Undertale, where the same thing was true.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when Undyne threw spears at you, they had to hit you in the heart to trigger a battle.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Well, it actually reminds me of games like Toho, where your actual hitbox
is smaller than
tiny.
you. Yeah. Yes, hell yeah, Susie, I'm not dead. I didn't even get hit once. But yeah, Susie basically orders us to go ahead and check what's going on here. In this very strange place. So this is kind of like the first time you see New Home in the distance from Undertale. It looks like you're right in front of this castle, but you're actually very far away from it.
Interesting.
That castle is our end goal. It's the end of the game. Anyway, this is actually the end of this video and the prologue, so we will see you guys next time for part 1 or
Goodbye,
2,
everybody.
whichever one it is. Good night, everybody.
I think it'll actually be part 2, but...
Yeah.